Alright, so we were covering episode 18 and 17 last time, and Perturabo has. Oh, he's got something nice. And I got a feeling with him in charge of the defense, it's going to be a lot more ruthless. I'm just saying. I don't think they're going to be exactly polite about this. Perturabo hates Dorn with a passion. I'd hate to see him on the defense versus Dorn. Well, I wouldn't actually. I'd love to see him on the defense versus Dorn, just for the battle itself. In any case, we're gonna go ahead and get started with episode 19. If you guys are just seeing this pop up, don't know what this is all about, I have put together a playlist with every single one of these from start till now, and I'm going to continue to add to that playlist. The description for this is going to be down. The details for this are going to be down below, as well as with the Patreon and the Discord. If you have any requests to make, please go make them there. I try to get to as many as I can, but time is a thing. Here we go.
A few days prior to the Battle of Istvan V, Corvus Corax, the Primarch of the Raven Guard, sat in his chamber opposite the Ultramarines' envoy. He listened to him talking about Dawn's great plan to turn the Imperium into something greater than it is now. He fell into two minds about the situation, being a revolutionary in his own right when he liberated his home from the tyrants who enslaved his people. He found it hard to believe that the Emperor would become such a cruel dictator, but all the signs were there. His great crusade to bring all the worlds to one banner, under one figurehead. Corax could see both sides of the coin. He thanked the Ultramarine for his message, and said he would inform his brother of his decision soon. He asked one of his captains, Solara Ann, for his take on the situation. Solara stated that he believed that such open rebellion was foolish, but at the same time, he believed that his father couldn't let all of humanity fall under an iron thumb if what the Ultramarine said was true. Corax was racked by indecision, but having received word from Terra itself to undertake in stopping this rebellion, he knew he would have to reach a decision, and soon. Upon the surface of...
So basically right now, what I'm seeing with Corvus Corax, now I haven't read his actual book yet. I have not read that book. But it seems that he's taken the same role in the regular timeline as the Khan did, because the Khan was kind of in between, trying to decide which way he wanted to go. If he wanted to join Horus, because he had spent his entire life fighting against emperors and, petty kings. He had spent his entire life fighting against that. So he was trying to decide if he was going to side with Horus to overthrow the emperor or side with the emperor. So it looks like Corvus Corax is taking his sort of role in this.
Istvan V, Rogor Dawn himself landed to inspect the fortifications for the upcoming battle. Ferrus Manus of the Iron Hands had personally taken charge of the defences and
Makes
greeted
sense.
his brother with a clenched fist to the chest in a military salute. Miles upon miles of weapons batteries and artillery had been established, along with trenches and tank traps. Ferrus Manus informed the War Master that everything was close to readiness. He then inquired about their brothers. Guilliman would take command of the fleet and charge of the naval battle. Leman Russ, in his new bestial form, along with his legion, had yet to return from Prospero, while Sanguinius and his kin were preoccupied with stimulating themselves for ever-increasing heights of pleasure, despite Dawn's wishes. While a bunch of pleasure-induced maniacs would be useful fodder on the battlefield, without Russ to join them, and Guilliman commanding the naval battle in orbit, it would be an extremely bloody conflict. Ferrus Manus gripped his thunderhammer, Forgebreaker, and looked at it sadly. The hammer was constructed by his beloved friend Fulgrim. He hoped he wouldn't have to use it, and that Fulgrim would see sense and join them. Rogel Dawn reminded Ferrus Manus that they were at war, and there would be no place for sentimentality at this time. As the Salamanders and Raven Guard fleets approached the Istvan system, Alfarius activated a mass transmission to the legions. He began to describe his battle plan, where the Alpha Legion would make a series of flanking maneuvers, while the Emperor's children and Night Lords committed to a forward assault. The Raven Guard and Salamanders would remain in reserve to replace those who had run out of ammunition or were unable to continue fighting, while reinforcing their defences. Fulgrim gripped his power sword, Fireblade, in his hand and drew it. He thumbed the activation rune, and the blade became wreathed in fire. As he gazed into it, he remembered back to the words that Conrad Kurz had spoke to him. Death.
Okay, so with Alfarius being the one writing the actual engagement, I don't think his brothers would respect him enough for that, to be the architect of the engagement. I much more consider that the Lion, considering he is still, technically on the Imperium side, because he just simply hasn't thrown in with Dorn yet. Technically, he's still on their side. Technically, he is the best general they have that is currently in the system, with the exception of a loyalist Fulgrim that isn't tainted by Slaanesh, because Fulgrim was an exceptionally good general. Alfarius did not hold the respect from his brother Primarchs because they viewed his tactics as kind of underhanded, sneaky, things like that. Corvus Corax would, of course, fall in line with that. Vulcan, he would be okay with somebody else leading the way as well. Corvus Corax, Vulcan, and Alfarius wouldn't be the ones to step up into that leadership role. Vulcan just simply because he was just fine. He was fine with leading, he was fine with following. Corvus Corax, he was okay with anything as long as it got the job done. But Fulgrim taking a backseat to Alfarius, I just don't see it. And, that's that. In any case, I'm enjoying this so far. It's kind of inspiring me because I think I'm going to come up with my own Heresy series. I think I should come up with my own Heresy series. I do enough theory crafting on this channel where it would be something I could do. But, oh yeah, here we go. This is probably going to be the Battle List Fun 5, Episode 20.
Horus and Jagatai Khan clashed on the plains of Chagoras, striking at and blocking each other with their weapons, like knights from ancient legend. The Khan was known for his skill with a blade, his disdain of acrobatics and fancy ornate moves that many of his brothers used, preferring on relying on the simpler, brutish yet skillfully targeted strikes. The two locked their weapons again and stared each other down. Horus said that this wasn't personal, he was merely following their father's orders. Jagatai Khan spat back that because of Horus's actions, their father may soon no longer live. This comment enraged Horus, who pushed Jagatai back, causing him to kick up a large cloud of dust and loose soil. Jagatai used his lightning speed to rain blow after blow on Horus with his Talwar, until Horus blocked the blade with his bladed talon and crushed it, sending arcs of light in all directions as the field generator within the blade shorted out. He swung his mace, Worldbreaker, and sent Jagatai flying back several feet into the dirt. Horus slowly stepped towards him, ignoring the battle raging around them between the lunar wolves and the white scars. He lowered his mace to his brother and demanded that the Khan yielded. Jagatai Khan groaned in pain. The blow from Worldbreaker had cracked his ribcage. He glared up at Horus with disdain in his eyes, too proud to ever surrender.
Yeah.
A bolt of warp lightning caught Horus off guard, causing him to stagger as the Stormseers approached. Bolt after bolt impacted Horus's cataphracti plate, sending sparks and searing paint and decorative fur off with the pungent smell of burnt metal. Horus gritted his teeth and braced himself, slowly pushing his way forward as the Psychers continued to attack him with their supernatural abilities. A Rhino APC rolled up, and a combat squad of White Scars, along with the apothecary Altan Nohai, disembarked. Altan Nohai tended to his Primarch, examining the state of his injuries. The White Scars Astartes began to open fire on Horus, the rounds from their bolters impacting his armor. But still the massive Primarch pushed forward, his face twisted with fury and determination. Nahai informed the Chief Stormseer, Taguta Usegi, that the Khan needed immediate medical attention. The White Scars needed to flee Chagoras. Usegi gave the order, and the White Scars began to pull back and retreat, desperate to reach their transports.
Okay.
As Horus raged at his brother's cowardice for not fighting until the end like a true warrior, he turned to his first captain, Ezekiel Abaddon. Abaddon was told to call a retreat. The Lunar Wars would leave Chagoras, and in lieu of killing or apprehending the traitor, Horus would declare the world to be subject to exterminatus via planetary bombardment.
That's new.
As the Lunar Wars retreated to orbit, the fleet began to rain lance fire down upon the world, until the very planet's core detonated. A bright flash of light scattering billions of tons of debris and rock out into the lifeless void. Horus watched the destruction of his brother's world and hung his head low. Jagatai Khan was a traitor, and his cowardice and deception had doomed his world and his people. Horus lamented the loss, but his brother's treason justified his actions.
Okay. That was a bit extreme. I did not expect that. I gotta get a new lamp. That thing shorts out all the time. I did not expect that. That is something that I didn't quite see coming. But for him to go directly after Jagatai isn't something that surprises me at all. The Lunar Rules, their entire motive was to go in and do an execution strike on the leadership. In any case, I really want to see what Perturabo does with the STC for the Men of Iron. I want to see what happens for the Istvan 5 system. I want to see all of it. The things that he has done to make everything work are minute changes to the way some of the Primarchs act and what they would and wouldn't do in certain positions. I have yet to see Angron, and I really want to see a loyalist Angron. In any case, I will catch you guys next time. Everything's going to be down in the description below. I hope you guys are having fun, and have a good night.